Alright, so in part one you saw how an obsession with Copart ruined our hunt, and so now part two shows you what happened and how our hunt fell out. So coming up, part two, Copart ruined our hunt. Back to the office.
So we leave to go hunting for the afternoon hunt, and we're coming back through that spot again where we get cell service. Coming back from that, and we had received an email from the original truck that we had bid on a day or two earlier that had counteroffered. So we didn't know that this was a thing. Obviously, we're new to Copart. We figured that because we didn't meet the seller's reserve, that we weren't going to get the vehicle. So at that point, I hadn't really thought about the Audi after that. But I thought, well, let's see. You know, I'm not going to come up on that bid. It's in Massachusetts. We're going to have to spend a lot of money to ship that car, I'm pretty sure, especially since it runs and doesn't drive. So I'm going to stick to the price, and they're not going to take the offer, and it's going to be over. So I sat in that spot, and we went back and forth with the owner for a while, and they came down to the original price that we had bid on, and we won the vehicle. So at that point, it was like a happy time, and it was also a oh crap time, because at that point we knew our broker required payment in 48 hours. So basically you had, starting the day that you got the winning notice, you had 48 hours to pay them. Well, we're an hour out of civilization. We're about an hour outside of Boulder, which isn't that far other than the fact that we have camp set up, we're in our camo. We still want to hunt. We knew at that point that we had to get to Boulder. We had to get to Boulder basically right then, and we had to find a bank that would allow us to wire transfer. The bank that we use is a community bank. It's not a big bank, so finding something in a city that's not our own city was going to be hard. We did find a small branch in Boulder. So we drove to Boulder. We get out in the middle of downtown Boulder, walking around in literally full camo with face paint on and everything. And we went into the bank. We got the wire transfer done. So it was an interesting day, to say the least. And then on the way back, we had literally about 10 minutes before we were in the mountains and lost cell service again. We had to find a shipper, because at that point we had to be able to get this truck shipped. Copart said that they didn't have anybody to ship it, so we had to find one on our own. We've never done this before. We've never had this happen. So we had some quick work trying to get that done. After a little while, we did find a shipper at that point, but the vehicle that the classic truck that we purchased was not an on-site Copart auction. So it was not on site. So it's going to take a few days for it to get there. So we had a few days to kind of relax and hunt, and then figure out, when we're going to have the shipper pick it up and all that kind of stuff. So we went back on our hunt. The next day, as we were coming back through that spot, going back into our hunting spot, back where the cell service is, we were talking about the fact that what if this happened with the Audi? What if the Audi came back and they started to counteroffer on the Audi now? We knew we wanted one car to play with. We know we didn't want two cars to play with. So at that point, as we were coming through that spot, sure enough, emails downloaded, and there we go, they counteroffered on the Audi. So again, I thought, well, I'm just gonna stick to the price. They're not gonna come down that far. We're gonna be free. It'll be fine. Well, they came all the way down and they met us at the offer. So now we had a second car in 2 days that we bought from Copart that we didn't plan on in the middle of our hunt, and now we had to try to figure out a way to take care of this situation. We had 48 hours at this point in order to pay for the car. We drove thinking we're just going to take our time. We'll figure this out. We know the place in Boulder that the bank that is available for us to do wire transfer. So we're going to slow it down just a little bit. Went to our hunting spot, It was just getting to be dark. Perfect time for hunting. In the perfect spot. We found a perfect spot. This was our day. We were both going to tag out on elk, and it was awesome. And then a truck pulls up right in the middle of our spot. We're obviously hiding in the woods. They get out with drones and start flying drones all over the place, which is illegal in a wilderness area. But you know, we're not the type of people that are going to run out of the woods with our bows. We're not going to do that. We're just going to breathe and leave, because at that point there was not a lot of opportunity for us. I'm sure anything that was in the area was moved out, and we decided that that was the sign that between the Copart purchases that popped up in the middle of the hunt and the other varying traffic, illegal traffic in the area that is causing us to walk away from our hunt, that we were just going to head back home. We were going to go to our bank, pay, and then I was going to get in my truck the next morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and drive to Albuquerque to go pick up this Audi. So that's what we did. Waking up the next morning at 4 o'clock in the morning to drive another 6 hours to Albuquerque to go pick up this vehicle. Didn't have a lot of time to plan it. We didn't have a trailer. My truck obviously can pull a trailer, but I didn't have a trailer, so easiest thing, call U-Haul, find a trailer. That was pretty easy. That took me about 20 minutes. On the way to Albuquerque, I also looked up the VIN online and found a website that had it listed for sale from an auto dealer in California in 2016 with 91,000 miles on it. And it was a beautiful, beautiful car back then. It had Avis wheels on it, which are the stock wheels for that year. S4. It was just awesome. Now, I couldn't see the wheels in the auction pictures very well, but this site that I found with this VIN on it showed the wheels, it showed the exterior all the way around, it showed way more pictures than the auction pictures did. So I thought, hey, you know, I'm getting an awesome car. This is just going to be great. I don't know what's wrong with it, but I'll figure it out. And I just got more excited as the day led on. Made it to Albuquerque. The original place that I was going to pick my trailer had changed. They now sent me to West Albuquerque to go pick up the trailer. I found my way to basically an open lot that had old campers in it, and I thought I was in the wrong spot, so I walked into a mobile home. There were some folks in there that said, what was your name? And I told them my name, and they said, well, I think it's in the back. Just drive back there, and there's a guy back there, and he'll help you out. So I drove all the way to the back of this lot, and there was literally one U-Haul trailer back there. The thing looked like it was from the 50s. But you know, at that point, I'm in a hurry. I got to get back. It's 6 hours there. It's another probably 2 hours to do everything I had to do in Albuquerque, including Copart, to pick it up. And then I had to drive back. So that's 14 hours. And you know, this is in the middle of my vacation when I'm supposed to be hunting. I don't really want to be out for 2 days. So I thought, you know, let's just pick up this trailer and I'll figure it out. So they load the trailer up. I'm asking them questions about, you know, contracts and do they need my license? And they didn't need my license. They didn't have a contract for me to sign. They literally just hooked up to the back of my truck and said, you're good. We'll take care of the rest. They didn't have my name. So I don't know. I don't know what was going to happen with this, but I knew I was just going to drop it off at another U-Haul dealership and they were just going to have to deal with it. So I drove to Copart. The facility was on the outskirts of town. There was plenty of room for parking. There were a lot of other big trucks out there that were loading up cars, a lot of transport vehicles loading up cars. Went into the Copart facility, and those folks couldn't have been nicer. Super nice people, very accommodating. Of course, I had everything that I needed to pick it up, so that helped. The whole process with the counter took me maybe 5 minutes. I paid the couple of fees that I had to pay there, and then I was awaiting the big Caterpillar vehicle that has the forks on it that brings your car out. They brought it straight out, plopped it on my U-Haul trailer, and then drove off, and it was as easy as that. Walked around the car. It had a spray painted front bumper, although it wasn't a bad job. I could definitely tell that it wasn't factory. The Avis wheels that had once been on it are no longer there. It looks like a newer, more modern wheel on there, and the wheels don't look bad. They look actually very good. but I was really partial to those Avis wheels. And then, you know, there are a couple of other things that I noticed on the vehicle that just weren't right. The interior looked really good. But I was excited. So I strapped it down and I started hauling my way back to Colorado Springs. And it was very quick on the highway to realize that the trailer that I'd gotten, that I knew was going to be a rough trailer, was very rough. And basically it took me close to 8 hours to get back home. I had to fight that trailer all the way back. It was fishtailing all the time. It wasn't tracking right. It was pushing the back end of my truck around. There were several points where I thought I was going to jackknife my truck. This is at night. This is, you know, not really what I had signed up for. I thought was going to happen to get it back. But, you know, like anything else, about halfway through the drive, I adapted and I figured out that I needed to keep the accelerator on going downhill, and that would keep the trailer from fishtailing so much. And you know, I learned the eccentricities of how that trailer was going to act on me, and then I just countered that and made it all the way back home. So then after I got it back to the house, I kind of went and you know, the battery was dead, so I charged the battery and took it for a test ride, and this is what I found. So here is the Audi S4. This is the second of 2 Copart purchases within a 1-week time period during our hunting trip. And it essentially distracted us so much from hunting that our hunting excursion ended up not being successful. But we knew that this one was listed with mechanical problems. It did run and drive, so I didn't know exactly what the issue was. I did not have it pre-inspected. I did not go down and look at it. It was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is about a 6-hour drive from here. But I knew that I wanted one from a long time ago, and so I decided we'd go ahead and just try it and see what happens. Everybody knows that Audis are particularly pretty expensive and hard to work on and have a lot of problems. So we kind of knew that we were getting ourselves in pretty deep in this one. And upon getting it, as you can see, I already have a front wheel off, which is not good. The car overall is in good shape. The paint needs a little bit of wet sanding and compounding, but it's not bad at all. The wheels have a little bit of road rash. It's got brand new tires on it. All the glass is in good shape. We've got one window regulator that isn't working, which isn't a big deal. That will get fixed. The interior is in really good shape. Can't see it right now, but I'll do another video on it. But it's got the Recaro leather seats. They just need to be softened a little bit. And then, so we got it back and immediately found out that it is missing on every single cylinder in this bank. And the harder we throttle at idle, it is perfectly fine. It sounds great. It's got an aftermarket exhaust on it. It's got an aftermarket intake. And it sounds great. It sounds wonderful. It actually drives pretty good until you smash on the throttle. And then it bogs down and all the lights come on and it starts misfiring. And before I even did this video, I was in a hurry to try to see if I could get this thing running. Changed all the plugs on both sides. Switched the coils around to see if I could get it to misfire on the other bank, but it didn't. So I'm assuming these coils are fine. And then now we're looking at possibly a blocked catalytic converter, which is something that happens with these vehicles a lot. During the time span, which is only about 2 or 3 days of me trying to figure out the misfire on this, the power steering system took a crap on me and poured power steering fluid all over the driveway on a drive back from testing it. And now I've got a major power steering leak, which I'm going to be trying to figure out first so that I can then drive the car around a little bit more and figure out if the cats are the issue for the misfire on the engine. So this is the second of the 2 purchases. The first one is supposed to show up today on a transport truck, and we will show you that as well. We're really excited about that one.
It's definitely easier to work on than this one, and we'll show you that here in a little bit. But in order for me to find this leak, you can't see down in there because of the poor lighting. But Audis are particularly hard, especially this one with a V8 in it. It's particularly hard to work on the engine due to the fact that everything is crammed in there so tight. You've got a V8 where normally a V6 or smaller engine is in. So I needed a tool that I could do a little bit of inspection in there without pulling everything out. So I went to Harbor Freight and purchased this Syntec camera, and it was about $85, and the 20% coupon that you can find just about anywhere is applicable to this. So typically it's not to most electronics, but this one is not listed, so we were able to get 20% off. So we got it for about 60 bucks, 50, 60 bucks, something like that. So we're going to pull it out, we're going to unbox it, and we're going to try it out and see if it helps us find a power steering brake.
So as you can see, the Audi didn't turn out to be exactly what I thought it was going to be, although it is a great car. So we're going to do a walk around of the car. We're going to talk about what we had to do in order to get this car to be the purchase that we wanted it to be. We're going to talk about the mystery truck that was the first purchase that we didn't think we were going to end up getting, but we ended up getting. It came on a transport trailer soon after we got the Audi back. So that'll be coming up as well, and kind of what we found out with that. And then we still have the Bronco that we're finishing, so we're going to be doing a lot on the Bronco. So we're going to have a series on each one of these so that we can kind of show you how we're enjoying these, what we have to do to fix them up. We're also going to do some videos on some of the tools we had to buy in order to check these cars out. They turn out to be extremely valuable for us in repairing these vehicles, and so we're really excited. So like and subscribe. There's a lot of other calamities coming up. We're going to talk about Copart. We're going to talk about, because we have some more Copart purchases coming up that we want to look at, and our lights out broker, which is, I'm telling you, extremely hard to find. They're not going to pay us to do this. They don't even know we're doing this. I don't even think they know who we are. But we were so excited with this broker that we're going to tell you all about who it is, and we're going to give them huge props, because in 2 purchases they didn't fail us one time. And that was a big consternation of ours, is whether or not we were going to find a broker that wasn't going to, I heard so many nightmares about brokers and people getting screwed out of money, and delivery trucks, refusing to deliver the vehicle, and all kinds of stuff. So we did not experience any of that. I'm not saying that you won't, and I'm not saying that they haven't done bad by other people, but for us, they worked out really good. So we're going to have a video on that as well. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again.